What's up, everybody? Dice Sports here. And with the Patriots dynasty getting as old as it is, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick nearing retirement, I thought it would be a really cool video to do the three teams with the most potential to replace the Patriots in the Super Bowl in the next 3 years. And the number 3 team on the list is the Los Angeles Chargers. Last season they managed to go 9-7 with many injuries. For starters, their rookie offensive guard Forrest Lamp missed a whole year with a knee injury. Their offensive tackle Chris Hairston missed 14 games with an illness. Their tight end Hunter Henry missed the last 2 games of the season. Their center Matt Slauson missed 9 games with a bicep tear. Safety Darryl Stuckey missed the whole season, 2 knee injury, and cornerback Jason Verrett missed the whole season to a knee injury. Rookie wide receiver Mike Williams missed half the season to a back injury. Linebacker Denzel Perriman missed most of the season to ankle injury. Defensive end Corey Luigett missed games and struggled during the season with a back injury. And offensive tackle Joe Barksdale missed some games and struggled with foot injuries. So, that is all of those injuries are to their starters, to their starting players. And if you think those injuries didn't have a big impact on the team, you are for surely wrong. This team, in my eyes, could have done so much better if they wouldn't have had all these injuries, especially to some of their best players also, like Hunter Henry, such a young player and already forming to become a top tight end in the league. Denzel Perriman is a solid linebacker. Corey Luigett, solid defensive end. 4 of their starting offensive linemen missed most of this. Were injured. That is huge. And they managed to go 9-7. In my eyes, that is the most impressive thing ever. And to top it off, Phillip Rivers had a 62.6 completion percentage, 4,515 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with a 96 quarterback rating, and he only got sacked 18 times. When you have 4 of your starting offensive linemen injured most of the season, and you manage to only get sacked 18 times, you are an elite QB in the league. When you throw for 4,500 yards with a 62% completion percentage, with 4 of your starting offensive linemen injured, you are an elite QB. Phillip Rivers doesn't even have a Pro Bowl lineman, and still 4 of his starters were injured. Doesn't even have a Pro Bowler. Maybe Matt Slauson made one way back. But otherwise, in the last 3 years, when has a Chargers offensive lineman made the Pro Bowl? I probably am wrong on this. There probably was one, but this is just very impressive for Phillip Rivers. Melvin Gordon, starting running back, last season managed to get 1,105 yards and 8 touchdowns with that terrible line, but he did only have 3.9 yards per carry. He also got 58 receptions, 476 yards, and 4 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. Austin Eckler, backup running back, had 260 yards and 2 touchdowns on 5.5 yards per carry. Then he added 27 receptions, 279 yards, and 3 touchdowns to that. So a very solid backup running back. And I'm pretty sure the other backup running back, Brandon Oliver, was injured throughout the season as well. So yeah, just way too many injuries for the Chargers. They could have done so much better. They added offensive tackle Cole Toner. They signed rookie offensive tackle Zachary Crabtree from Oklahoma State. They drafted center Scott Quessenberry from UCLA. They signed 3-time Pro Bowler center Mike Pouncey. They signed veteran starting offensive tackle Michael Schofield, who is a big upgrade over Chris Hairston. Even though Antonio Gates retired, they signed Virgil Green. And they also have Hunter Henry still. So their tight end position is still solid, even though Antonio Gates retired. And let's look at their wide receiver position. Tyrell Williams had 43 receptions, 728 yards, and 4 touchdowns last season. Very solid. Star wideout Keenan Allen, 102 receptions, 1,393 yards with 6 TDs. That's not very good, but the touchdowns were spread out to everybody in the receiving. As you saw, Melvin Gordon had 4, and even the third string running back had 3. So their wide receivers are Travis Benjamin, Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, and rookie Dylan Cantrell from Texas Tech. That is a very solid receiving core. Especially very athletic, big Mike Williams. Huge, great size to him. Was a rookie from Clemson this past season, but didn't get to play much because of injury. And if he gets to play the whole season, you have Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams. You add Dylan Cantrell to that. That is deadly. Then for tight ends, you have Hunter Henry and Virgil Green. Running backs, you have Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, and Brandon Oliver. This is a very solid offense. They upgraded their offensive line by a lot. Phillip Rivers. Imagine Phillip Rivers with a good offensive line. The Chargers are going to break out next season, in my opinion. If the Raiders don't, which I really don't think so. But they did add Jordy Nelson and John Gruden as head coach, so you never know with them. Weird team. I'm really expecting this Chargers team to. And let's get to the defensive side. You think their offense is impressive? Their defense is even better. Their defensive line alone. Joey Bosa, 12.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery last year. Melvin Ingram, 10.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries last season. They added rookie defensive tackle Justin Jones from NC State. They have backup defensive tackle Darius Philon, who in 4 starts had 4.5 sacks. They have veteran defensive tackle Brandon Mebane. They have veteran defensive end Corey Luigit. Very solid. Really good. They have young defensive guys on the line in Isaac Rochelle and Steven Richardson. Then, for their linebacking core, it's even strong. They added rookie Uchenna Nwosu from USC. Great pick, by the way. James Onwualu. Kyle Emanuel, who had 1.5 sacks, 3 pass deflections, and an interception. Jatavis Brown, who's a solid linebacker. Denzel Perriman. And Hayes Pollard. Not a very good linebacking core, but adding that rookie Uchenna Nwosu will help out tremendously. Oh yeah, they also have no, that's about it for linebackers at least. They really did need an upgrade at the linebacker position, but I feel like they're solid enough everywhere else that they really didn't need to. And the spot where you thought their defensive line was deadly with Bosa, Ingram, Luigit. Let's look at their defensive backs. Okay. Craig Mager. Not only him, Craig Mager is a solid backup, right? They added rookie Brandon Fasison from Virginia Tech. I don't know how to say his name, I'm sorry. They have a really good veteran corner in Trevor Williams. 46 tackles, 13 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions last year. Jason Verrett, who missed the whole year last year, young corner, Pro Bowler, one of the best in the league. They have Jalen Watkins, who's a good safety. For the Eagles, he was. They added him in free agency. They added rookie Derwin James from the draft. They have Desmond King, who last year had 61 tackles, 4 sacks, 5 pass deflections, and an interception. Rayshawn Jenkins, Jaleel Addae is a really good safety who had 66 tackles, 7 pass deflections last year. They added rookie safety Kaiser White from West Virginia. They added rookie Tony Brown from Alabama. They have Adrian Phillips, who is a hell of a safety as well, who had 47 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 5 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. And then they have possibly a top 3 corner in the league in Casey Hayward, who last year had 33 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 22 pass deflections, and 4 picks. So yeah, they even added talent to their defensive backs, who is already good enough to hold its own. They've decided, oh, you know what, let's add Derwin James, the best safety in the draft, and 2 other solid defensive backs in Tony Brown and Brandon Facyson. Oh yeah, and let's go to free agency and add Jalen Watkins. So this Chargers team is really poised to take over. They're really underrated. Nobody really talks about them because they've been a joke of the NFL for so long, since LaDainian Tomlinson left and Drew Brees left. And Phillip Rivers is so underrated. So I feel like it's the Chargers' time. They are good enough if everyone can stay healthy. And the number 2 team, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as we all know, this was possibly their best season since the Mark Brunell days. The record wasn't. I think it was 10-6, but they ended up going to the AFC Conference Championship game. They had a really good chance of beating the Patriots. They should have beat the Patriots, but as we all know, the refs like to do things in the favor of the Patriots a lot of times. So the Jaguars ended up losing, and the Patriots went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Eagles. Should have been the Jaguars that went, but the reason why the Jaguars are number 2 on this list, even though they went to the conference championship last year, there's a lot of reasons, and I'm going to get to them right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars lost possibly their 2 best wide receivers in Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson. They lost a really good running back in Chris Ivory. They lost a starting offensive guard, and they lost a great tight end in Mercedes Lewis. But that doesn't make them completely hopeless for next season, because let's look at the talent they did have. Last season, in only 7 games played, young wide receiver D.D. Westbrook had 27 receptions, 339 yards, and 1 touchdown. Of course, they could have beat the Patriots in the AFC Conference Championship game, but the refs helped out the Patriots. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Alright, here's another reason. Besides the refs helping the Patriots, the Jaguars were missing Calvin Pryor, Michael Rivera, Allen Robinson, and Jalen Strong. All of them missed the conference championship game with injury. And Blake Bortles gets a lot of crap for being a bad quarterback. Last season, he had a 60.2 completion percentage, 3,687 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. And then he had 322 rushing yards, 5.6 yards per carry with 2 rushing touchdowns. The Jaguars even added a really good backup in Cody Kessler, who I think should have been the Browns starter instead of Deshaun Kaiser, but whatever. The Jaguars also have Leonard Fournette, who only played in 13 games, ran for 1,040 yards, 9 touchdowns, had 36 receptions, 302 yards, and 1 touchdown. And they have TJ Yeldon, who is a really good young backup running back. Then for wide receivers, they have Marquise Lee, who put up 56 receptions, 702 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They have Keelan Cole, who had 42 receptions, 748 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They have Rashad Green. They signed Dante Moncrief, so that filled up a huge hole there. they added two really good rookie receivers in 6'4" Alan Lazard and I think 6'3" or 6'4" DJ Chark. And I mean, these two receivers are phenomenal in college. Chark had 40 receptions, 874 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And he had 63 rushing yards with 1 rushing touchdown. Alan Lazard had 71 receptions, 941 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They also signed tight end Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who had an injury-riddled career. Most games in 2017 with 13 games. So hopefully if he can get back, since last year was a real comeback season for him. He had 50 receptions, 357 yards, and 3 touchdowns with 13 games. They signed undrafted rookie offensive guard Casey McDermott, and they also signed offensive guard Andrew Norwell, who's a All-Pro and the number 3 guard in 2017. And on defense, they have amazing depth on defense. On the D-line alone, they have young talent in Dwayne Smoot, Lyndon Johnson, a 6'6", who is a 6'6", undrafted rookie at the defensive tackle position, Hunter Dimmick, and then they have, of course, Calais Campbell, who was a monster last year with 14.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. They drafted Tavon Bryan, who is a hoss defensive tackle, great pass rusher, 4 sacks, and 6 tackles for loss in his junior year. They have Eli Anko, Michael Bennett, and Marcel Darius, with Malik Jackson, who had the best season of his career, which is pretty impressive to say, with 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections. That is a very impressive defensive line. I don't know about much better, but it's a tiny bit better than the Chargers. Just because they have somebody everywhere. They have defensive tackles, defensive ends, and they even have backups to the defensive end position and defensive tackle position, where the Chargers are just a little weak at the defensive tackle position. And at linebacker, the Jaguars have Miles Jack, who is young up-and-comer, hell of a good player. They have Yannick Ngakoue, who really impressed me. He had 12 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 6 forced fumbles last year. Just insane. They added Leon Jacobs, rookie from Wisconsin. They have Dante Fowler returning, who is a super athletic young player. Blair Brown, Brooks Ellis, young linebackers. Telvin Smith, possibly the best linebacker on their team. Lorente McCray, a nice veteran. And then the most impressive thing about this team, their defensive backs. They have Quentin Meeks, who was a really good rookie. They added D. Delaney, not a really good rookie. He was really good in college. I'm surprised the Jaguars were able to get him. They were also able to get rookie D. Delaney. They kept Jalen Myrick, DJ Hayden, of course AJ Boye, who had 53 tackles, 18 pass deflections, and 6 interceptions last year. Good backups in Tyler Patman, Dexter McDougal, of course the top cornerback in Jalen Ramsey. Added Ronnie Harrison from Bama. That is a great pickup. They have Don Carey, Tashawn Gibson, who is one of the best safeties. Barry Church, who is one of the best safeties. So this Jaguars team is one of the best all-around teams in the NFL. And the reason they're number 2, because they are one of the best all-around. It's hard to say. When you see the number 1 team, I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes, a lot of questions asked. But the way this team was going, the direction they were going, I just feel like I don't know how to really feel about this. The way this team was going, in 3 years from now, they can easily replace the Patriots dynasty. It's like the Chargers situation if everyone can stay healthy. So If we're talking about right now, it's the Jaguars at number 1. But if we're talking about like I am, in where it's going to be 3 years, throughout the 3 years, the next dynasty will probably be the number 1 team on my list, which is the Houston Texans. That's right. Surprised. I know this sounds stupid at first, but let me try to talk you into it. At first, I was convinced the Jaguars were number 1 for this, but the Houston Texans have the most potential. Everyone is so young and athletic, it is insane. Their quarterback, sure they don't have any good backups like at all, but if Deshaun Watson can stay healthy for a whole 16-game season, oh man, I want to see that. Just last year, his rookie year, no one saw anything in Deshaun Watson. I did. When the Bears took Trubisky over Watson, and everyone was saying Watson wasn't first round material, I was like, you're nuts. Deshaun Watson is easily the first QB taken in this draft, and look at here, I was right. When he was healthy, he took the Texans to a 3-3 record. And he almost beat the Patriots to make them 4-2. But they lost to the Patriots by 3 points. He had a 61.8 completion percentage, 1,699 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He had 103 quarterback rating, 269 rushing yards on 7.5 yards per carry, with 2 rushing touchdowns. This guy is the next Steve McNair. I'm sorry I'm saying a lot. It's just the amount of potential on this team is just stammering. You got running back Dante Foreman, who's so young, had 327 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns last year as a backup. Lamar Miller, who had a down year, had 888 yards and 3 touchdowns, 327 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. They added rookie wide receiver Kiki Kuti. They have a nice speedy wideout in Will Fuller, who last season put up 28 receptions, 423 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They have veteran Bruce Ellington as a receiver. They have Braxton Miller, Sammy Coates, and of course, superstar DeAndre Hopkins, who had 96 receptions, 1,378 yards, 14.4 yards per reception, and 13 touchdowns. I want to see Hopkins' stats with Watson for a full season. That's going to be insane what he puts up. And the rookie Kiki Kuti, what he put up last year with Texas Tech, he had 93 receptions, 1,429 yards, and 10 touchdowns. They are still weak at the tight end position. They did keep everybody on the offensive line, and they even added to it. They drafted offensive tackle Martinez Rankin, who I'm pretty sure can play both the tackle and guard spots. They added rookie defensive end Nick Thurman from Houston. And they have one of the most athletic, strongest, best pass rushing combos in the league, but we never had a real chance to see them work together. And that is Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. Over the past 3 or 4 seasons, it's either one of those two guys are injured, and it is insane. I just want to see those two out on the field together. And not only that, you have Whitney Merciless, who is a hell of a good pass rusher. They have nice depth at the defensive tackle position also with Carlos Watkins, who is a run stuffer, Christian Covington, who can get in the backfield, and DJ Reader, who is just a body, really. Then at linebacker, you have Zach Cunningham, who put up 45 tackles last year. You have Benardic McKinney, who is becoming real good. He even put up 3 sacks and a forced fumble. They added a really nice pass rusher, an undrafted rookie, Davin Bellamy. So yeah, see how much potential is in this Texans team. This season is just going to be another one of how they're going to do. In 2 or 3 years, I expect the Texans to start a full-on dynasty if everyone can stay healthy and they keep adding to their team. And to top it all off, in their defensive backs, they added Jermaine Kelly, a rookie, Aaron Colvin, a veteran, Andre Hale, who had 47 tackles and 2 forced fumbles, 5 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions last year. Just a really solid safety for the Texans. He's been for his entire career now. Kevin Johnson, a solid backup corner. And they added Pro Bowler, All-Pro safety / corner, Tyrann Mathieu. That is huge. Now not only do you have Clowney, Merciless, Watt, McKinney, now you add Tyrann Mathieu to the mix. And last year he put up some pretty modest numbers with 66 tackles, 1 sack, a forced fumble, 7 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions. They have a nice solid safety in Ibrahim Campbell. They added rookie Justin Reed, who was really good last year for Stanford. 94 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections. Justin Reed is so good. They have Kareem Jackson at corner. And they have Jonathan Joseph, who's getting pretty old. So they're going to have to start adding at the cornerback position. But just looking at the rest of this team, Tyrann Mathieu is now a defensive back for the Texans. That helps your defensive backs out a lot. I mean, last year they only had Andre Hale, Kevin Johnson, Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson. That's not much. It is something. It is a lot better than most teams. But then when you add Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Reed, I mean, this is insane. I can't wait to see this Texans team in 2 years. Not this upcoming season, but next year. I cannot wait to see them play together. Hopefully this upcoming season, they all stay healthy. They can play together. No one gets injured at all. No one gets suspended for anything. I want to see Hopkins, Watt, Clowney, Watson, Mathieu, everyone in the game. Nobody hurt. Nothing. And if that can happen, this Texans team can possibly make a Super Bowl run and replace the Patriots dynasty. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, share this video, leave a comment, give me some criticism of yours. I will see you all in the next one.